Did you know that certain foods that seem harmless might actually be feeding cancer cells in your body? I'm Dr. Vitality, a specialist in healthy aging, and today I'm going to reveal 5 foods that can help starve these malignant cells. If you're over 50 and curious about how small tweaks to your diet can boost your health, stick with me until the end of this video. Let's start with something we all know well: sugar. It seems harmless, sweet, and it's in almost everything we eat. But did you know that sugar is one of the primary fuels for cancer cell growth? Yes, when we consume too much sugar, our bodies need to release insulin to help process all that glucose. And guess who loves insulin? Cancer cells. They're like insulin addicts, using it to multiply faster and spread throughout the body. Scientific studies have shown that diets high in sugar are linked to an increased risk of several types of cancer, including breast and colon cancer. This is because excess glucose in the blood creates the perfect environment for these cells to thrive. Additionally, sugar causes chronic inflammation, another factor that can contribute to tumor growth. In other words, when you overindulge in sugar, you're giving those malignant cells a little extra push. But don't panic and swear off every sweet treat just yet. The key here is moderation and choosing sources of sugar that come with fiber, like fruits, which help control blood glucose levels. Another tip is to avoid the notorious hidden sugars found in processed foods and sweetened beverages. Instead, opt for natural and whole foods that provide essential nutrients without overloading your body with sugar. Remember, it's not about never enjoying a piece of cake again, but understanding the impact sugar has on your health and making conscious choices. Small changes in your diet can make a big difference in disease prevention and in strengthening your body against cancer. And of course, always consult a doctor or nutritionist before making significant changes to your diet. Now, let's talk about another villain that's hidden in many of the foods you might be consuming daily: food additives, especially monosodium glutamate, better known as MSG. It's in everything, from canned soups to that bag of chips you love snacking on while watching TV. And here's the warning: these additives, in addition to being harmful to your overall health, can create the perfect environment for cancer cells to develop. Monosodium glutamate, for example, is one of the most widely used additives in the food industry to enhance the flavor of food. However, it's known to increase inflammation in the body, which is a risk factor for cancer. Chronic inflammation can damage cell DNA, increasing the chances of mutations that can lead to cancer. Additionally, there's evidence that MSG can cause liver damage, a vital organ in detoxifying our bodies. And it's not just MSG that's concerning. Other additives, like preservatives and artificial colorings, have also been linked to an increased cancer risk. They may seem harmless, but when consumed in large amounts over the years, they can cause significant damage to our bodies. That's why it's important to pay attention to food labels and choose natural and minimally processed options whenever possible. But don't worry. Making healthy choices doesn't have to be a sacrifice. Try swapping out these processed foods for more natural, homemade options. Use natural seasonings like herbs and spices, which not only add flavor to your dishes but also bring health benefits. Turmeric, for example, is a natural anti-inflammatory that can help combat cancer cell growth. And the best part? You don't have to sacrifice flavor. If you're enjoying the content so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. This helps bring more videos like this and reach more people. Now let's talk about a common trap that many people fall into: processed proteins. They're often marketed as healthy options, especially for those trying to lose weight or gain muscle. But not everything that glitters is gold, and not all protein is healthy. Many of the processed proteins we find in shakes, protein bars, and even some ready-to-eat foods are loaded with additives, preservatives, and of course, sugar. Yes, that again. Protein powders, especially those of animal origin like whey protein, undergo industrial processes that can strip away natural nutrients and instead add substances that can be harmful to your health. One of the biggest problems with these proteins is that, because they're highly concentrated, they can overload the liver, especially when consumed in large quantities. And as we've already seen, a healthy liver is essential in preventing the development of cancer. Studies indicate that excessive consumption of processed proteins may be associated with an increased risk of cancer, especially in people over 50. This is because, in addition to overloading the liver, these proteins can increase the production of IGF-1, a hormone linked to cell growth, including the growth of cancer cells. So, that post-workout shake might be doing more harm than good. But don't worry, I'm not saying you should abandon proteins. They're essential for our bodies, especially for maintaining muscles and keeping the immune system functioning well. The key here is to choose quality proteins, like those found in natural foods such as eggs, fish, and legumes. These sources of protein come with other important nutrients and are far more beneficial to your health than their processed versions. So, the next time you're thinking about having a protein shake or grabbing a protein bar, take a look at the ingredient list. If you find too many strange names or additives, it might be better to opt for a real meal. Your body will thank you. Now, let's talk about something many people consider a healthier alternative to sugar: artificial sweeteners. But are they really the best choice? Recent studies have shown that some of these sweeteners, like aspartame and sucralose, may have long-term negative effects on health. And to make matters worse, there's evidence that they could be linked to the development of certain types of cancer. Aspartame, for example, is a sweetener widely used in diet sodas and sugar-free products. While it has been approved by several health regulatory agencies around the world, some studies suggest that consuming it in large amounts could increase cancer risk. This happens because, in the body, aspartame can break down into substances that are potentially carcinogenic, like methanol and formaldehyde. Another common sweetener is sucralose, often used in baked goods and diet sweets. Despite being considered safe for consumption, research has shown that sucralose can alter gut flora, which can, in turn, weaken the immune system and increase inflammation in the body. And as we know, chronic inflammation is one of the factors that can contribute to cancer development. So, if you're worried about sugar consumption and want an alternative, what should you do? One option is to use natural sweeteners, like stevia or xylitol. They're less processed and, as far as we know, don't have the same negative effects as artificial sweeteners. Additionally, you can reduce the amount of sugar and sweeteners you consume daily by training your palate to appreciate the natural flavors of foods. Remember, the secret to a healthy diet isn't in swapping one poison for another, but in making conscious and balanced choices. By reducing your intake of artificial sweeteners, you'll not only be protecting your body against cancer but also helping to keep your immune system strong and healthy. We've reached the last food on our list, and this one is a true master of disguise: ultra-processed foods that are marketed as healthy. These products are all over the grocery store shelves, often with packaging that highlights words like whole grain, light, or fortified with vitamins. But are these foods really good for your health? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Ultra-processed foods are those that undergo various industrial processes and contain a long list of ingredients, many of which are additives, preservatives, and other chemical compounds that you won't find in natural foods. These products may have fewer calories or less fat than their traditional versions, but that doesn't mean they're healthier. On the contrary, they usually contain large amounts of sugars, sodium, and unhealthy fats, while being low in nutrients. A classic example is whole grain breakfast cereals. Many of them have as much sugar as a candy bar, yet they're marketed as healthy breakfast options. Another example is light cookies, which, despite having less fat, are loaded with additives to maintain flavor and texture, which can be just as harmful. These foods can not only mislead consumers but also contribute to obesity, diabetes, and, of course, cancer. Research indicates that regular consumption of ultra-processed foods is associated with a significant increase in the risk of various chronic diseases, including cancer. This is because these foods are not only low in nutrients but can also cause inflammation, overload the liver, and negatively alter metabolism. Additionally, the additives in these products can be toxic to the body in the long run. But how can you avoid these foods when they're everywhere? The solution is simple: opt for fresh and minimally processed foods. Always prefer fruits, vegetables, lean meats, fish, and whole grains. These foods don't need flashy packaging to be healthy. They come straight from nature, packed with nutrients that strengthen your body and help prevent diseases. So, now you know, small adjustments to diet can have a huge impact on your health, especially when it comes to preventing cancer. Avoiding processed foods, sugars, and artificial sweeteners is a big step in ensuring your body has everything it needs to stay strong and healthy. If you think the content is adding value to your life, consider making a donation. Every bit of support helps cover costs and keeps the videos coming. The link is in the description. Thanks to the members who have already donated. I'm leaving a video here for you to watch as well, which will complement what we discussed today in a way you won't want to miss. I'm Dr. Vitality, and remember, health comes first.